Hi all, this is Skate, and this video is all about Kolobanov's medals. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because at one point or another we will all get thrown into this situation. So it's how to deal with it. Before we go any further, by the way, there is no magic answer of do this and you're guaranteed to win your Kolobanov medal. The point of this video is to try and give some tips and pointers for those who don't know on how to try and deal with it. And the first golden rule is trying to predict it. Now, I'm going in to help my last team buddy who is against 3 targets over there. I'm going as quick as I can, but as soon as I notice all his hit points disappear, I'm not running in. Now, some of you will go, oh, that's cowardly. It's not. It's thinking ahead. Because the reality is, there is no way in hell I'm saving that guy or doing anything to help him with that amount of hit points. So, I mean, realistically, I would have run in, they would have finished him off, and then I would have had a yay, all 3 guns on me now, I fire 1 clip, I'm dead. That's not going to get me anywhere. And you could argue, oh yeah, true team buddy, he came in, risked it all to try and save me. Yeah, we still lost. What difference does it make? So if you can save your team buddy, you go for it. If it looks like there's absolutely no hope, relocate. And the best thing to do in this circumstance is go for range. Try and get as much realistic distance as you can between you and the enemy tanks. Now I say realistic because if you just try and belt it as far away as you can, you're just going to get caught out in the open. So you need to get yourself to a strong position and a fair range from them. I mean, look at this circumstance. I knew all 3 would be chasing me. So my solution was to go to this ridge where I can use my gun depression, I can use bushes to spot, and I can reset. In this circumstance, I give myself an advantage back. And the reason I was moving constantly back and forth then, by the way, is I have no idea where that waffle is, but I was still spotted from the K91. So he could have fired a shot in my direction and hit. By moving back and forth constantly, makes it that little bit more challenging. And all those little things really do add up. I know it seems silly just going back and forth, but my god, it really does make such a difference. And having that bush in front of me meant I spotted the waffle and he didn't spot me, which gave me another advantage back. As some of you will also note, I didn't reload my clip to go for that waffle, and the reason being is because he could have appeared at any point in time. And I know I didn't need to, because before they all went unspotted, you take a memory of what their hit points are, and it gives you the ability to quickly calculate, right, that one needs 1 shot, that one needs a clip, that one needs a clip. And it gives you the ability to work that out very quickly. And again, it's those little advantages by taking the information while you can, which give you the edge back in the game. Here's another one. This one's a little bit different. There's 4 of them, and most of them have heaps of hit points remaining. I'm coming this way, and the only thing this direction at this point in time, to my knowledge, is this tank. Now, I could have tried to play slower with him, dodge around him, stay up there, he couldn't have done anything, but I don't know where the others are exactly. They could have fired at me across the map, or alternatively, while I was dodging around with this guy, it gave them time to play catch-up and come in and help. So it's why I just had to get stuck in with this guy, because in this point in time, it's a 1 versus 1, not a 1 versus 4, because the others are nowhere to be seen at the moment. But as soon as I clear this guy, I'm in a 1 versus 3, instead of a 1 versus 4, which is a slightly better situation. As I say that though, a T-57 and a Kampfpanzer 70 comes flying around the corner. I'm going to try and deal with the 1 target first. I'm side-scraping against the train. It makes me a difficult target. Doesn't make me invulnerable in any shape or form, but it makes it that little bit harder. Now there's no way I'm going to get away from this T-57 in time, so I have to make a stand. But I'm not just going to sit there in the open. I'm going to try and give myself some form of cover. And it's fairly obvious I'm not going to win this one. I couldn't get away. Now, if I could have got away from that T-57, there's a possibility that I could have reset my camo, cleared the T-57 before the last tank alive came over and dealt with me. Also, I'm a medium tank, so I was faster than the tanks that were remaining, and I have a better view range. So in that circumstance, deal with the T-57 because he's a bit quicker, and then in theory, I could have just toyed with the E-100 from long range. Because my advantage in that circumstance was view range. And with view range, I can take advantage of playing long range. And it's very similar to this circumstance. I'm a T-49. Long range doesn't help my gun. But one thing I can do is relocate ridiculously quickly, and I can, in theory, outspot them. But because my gun is not built for very long range, I don't have to play it long range. I just have to spot them before they spot me. So this circumstance, I made all of them think I was going that direction. Count approximately how long it is until my camo resets, and then I'm heading back a different direction. I may run into somebody, but in theory by doing that, I've broken them up. Having all of them come ram raid me at once is just... I'm just going to get ruined. However, trying to get each of them to come at me one by one puts me in a slightly better circumstance, because again, you got to think of it as, I'm in a 1 versus 1. Until this happens, and when you spot 2, it's like, oh damn! I think you just got to leg it as fast as you can. Or take tracks off and then try and leg it. Or another alternative is to screw up like I have here and try and go up that ridge, which I cannot go up. Nearly screwing up the entire situation. That being said, I am now in a bad situation still. This guy needs to be cleared. If I fired a HE at his face, I probably wouldn't have killed him. Trying to find the right shot to finish him puts me in a 1 versus 1 again. And I'm not going to stay around trying to dance with that guy. I am out. And I'm out to a point where once he drops off, I in theory have also dropped off. But again, I have the mobility and the camo, and he's given it away where he is anyway. He's gone to A. Which means I can quite happily go up to this bush and just aim in properly. Nice and slow, wait for to get the right shot, and it's in. Now again, I could have thrown a HE and in theory it should have killed him. However, I don't really want to risk it. I mean, why would I if I had the time unspotted to just sit there and wait for the right shot, especially as I knew he was going to be capping. Now this is an old bit of footage. In fact, it's a very old bit of footage. However, I wanted to include it because it's a nice way of highlighting this circumstance. I'm not going to try and leg it and relocate. I'm already in a decent position for a heavy tank. There's only one point of entry towards me. Well, there will be, provided I could get round this corner quickly and see what's coming up the hill. I tried to weaken the targets before they got to me, but my priority at this point in time is to get myself somewhere safe. Now, I'm behind a wreckage. They are, in theory, or should, try and all push me at the same time. That does give them the best chance, although you can use that to your advantage in some ways. And the way I'm going to try use that to my advantage is I'm going to stay close to this guy. I'm going to take a shot off him, but as long as I don't take one off the waffle, I'm happy. If that dead T-62A wasn't there, I would have been screwed at that point in time. Now, here comes the Yag. My focus at this point is going to be hiding behind the K91. By hiding behind the K91, he is now my shield against the enemy target. I'm going to deal with this guy as long as I can. However, if the Jaeger tried to push up, I would turn my attention to him because I'm strongest against this guy. In a face hug circumstance, that guy was in the worst situation against my tank. He couldn't hit my lower plate. He has my very tough turret to deal with. He gave me an advantage back, and they do, because when you're in this sort of circumstance, so many targets against one, you know what happens, we all do it. We all rush in for that last kill, that last bit of damage. Everybody does it, but in doing so, if the other person's prepared for it, you're giving them an advantage. You're allowing them some sort of edge back. This next clip will highlight exactly the same circumstance. I want to try and get a bit of gap in between me and the enemy 3 tanks. However, I can't. I'm not going to be able to. So I need to hunker down as best I can and try and deal with the onslaught of all 3 of them coming at me at once. I'm not going to go chasing that guy and expose myself too much. Instead, I'm just going to deal with what targets I have to shoot at. Reversing back hides my lower plate and gives him my turret to shoot at. Now, I want to try and push him now because he's a one-shot, but here comes the Nashorn. If I stopped then, I would have got shot in the side by the Nashorn. So instead, I'm going to try and run away from the Nashorn, who has better mobility than me, and I'm going to finish that guy. Here's where it gets fun with multiple targets. I'm not going to get away. There's another tank in front of me. My solution is to reverse past the Nashorn, load an AP, finish him off. This guy's going to try and squeeze past me, a little bit of a cuddle, and finishes him off. Now on the surface, that genuinely seems like a really easy circumstance to deal with. They were all rushing me. Gotta be honest though, there are things you can do to completely screw that up, and there are things you can do which give you the edge. For example, sitting out in the open by that Nashorn would have given him some freebies into the side of me. Carrying on, running away from him, would have put me squashed in between two tanks. By reversing back, it put both tanks directly in front of me, which meant both tanks were facing my thickest armour, and I didn't have to try and twizzle my tank around later on to deal with the other faster tank. Little things like that go a very long way. Trying to hide from one while dealing with another target really does make a big difference. Now the last clip is in my AMX-30B. Some of you may have seen this one from my AMX-30B video, but I still want to include it anyway because I think this one is a very interesting one. I'm not in a tank I can hunker down in like an IS-7 or an E100 or something. I'm in a tank where I've just got to get away. And I've got to get away quickly in order to survive. I have got a very good turret. I've got very good mobility and very good gun depression, but they mean nothing when I'm sat in the open in front of 4 targets. I need to make some room between me and the enemy. And I'm doing that by pretty much doing exactly the same thing as you saw in the very first clip. I'm getting up to a ridge where I can use gun depression, and I'm trying to outspot them. I've spotted 2 targets, so that IS-7 was an easy shot then, but I'm going to get spotted firing, so at least, to my advantage, I've taken 1 target out just by waiting a little bit longer. And I know I've talked about that a lot in this replay, in this video, but it is important. And I must admit, this is one topic that got me intrigued. I went and had a look at how many Kolobanovs in what tanks I've got. I thought it'd probably be medium tanks more than any other tank, or light tanks more than any other. It's not. I mean, I've got 148 Kolobanovs on my account. Most is in the T49 with 8. Straight after that is an E100 with 5. There's an AT-15A with 4. There's an E25 with 5. A KV2 with 4. Type 62 has 4 or 5. There's a big variation. There's Jaegeroos in there. There's loads of different tanks in terms of mediums, lights, heavies, etc., etc. Because the golden rule is playing to your advantage of your tank. This thing, mobility and view range, AT-15A, if I was thinking about that tank, which I'm really surprised I got that many Kolobanovs in it, but if I was thinking about that tank, I'd be thinking, right, a ridge where I can use the gun depression. That maximizes the effective thickness and gives me an advantage in terms of perma-tracking as people are coming towards me. E100, I would try and just find somewhere where I can side scrape. It depends on the tank. What you do in that situation. The 113 earlier, face hugs. That's what saved my bacon, basically. So yes, range is vital. And trying to find somewhere strong for your tank is vital. But playing to the advantages of your tank is what will give you the edge. Against this IS-7, I've got mobility for days, and he doesn't. So with that in mind, I was trying to obviously circle him, which I'm going to do quite easily. What I'm not going to do, for those who have not seen this clip already, is win this battle, because I am going to run out of time before he runs out of hit points. Not by much though, but it is bloody close to winning this battle. But again, this just goes to show you win some, you lose some. I'm not bitter in the slightest for not winning this one. Okay, maybe a little bit. But nonetheless, I did the best I could do in these situations. Some of them I lost, some of them I won. And the key things were trying to remain calm, not having a brain fart, realizing you're about to be thrown into a Kolobanov situation or against multiple tanks so you can prepare for it. Try and get a bit of range while you can, and once you've done that, play to the strengths of the tank and focus on the ones which you think are the biggest threat. Biggest threat will change in every single circumstance. You could argue in one of the other clips on that 113, you could argue the Jaegeroo was the biggest threat, but he wasn't, because he was so slow it took him a while to get to me. I could outrun him, basically. If I was an E100 at that point in time, I probably wouldn't have got away from him, therefore I would have tried to focus him a bit earlier. And then I've also got a large caliber gun at that point, so I just would have splashed him with HE, same with the Waffle, which would have left me in a 1 versus 1 against the K91. And being as the K91 wanted a face hug, I didn't have to worry about the lower plate, it's just angling the turret, which is pretty straightforward in an E100. But again, this all depends on what tank you're in. You have to work out the strengths of that tank and play to them, and if you do so, in theory, you'll come out on top. Anyway, that's enough waffle for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it's been useful to some people out there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.